Ride along each week as we share proven strategies to strengthen your business, energize your team, and create the business success you've been dreaming about. And now, here's your host, Rich Allen.
How effective is your current method of training team members? Welcome to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up Podcast, where our one and only goal is to help you tune up your business so you can have the long-lasting success and fulfillment that comes from owning a solid, profitable, and sustainable business. Each week we dive deep into a single topic related to improving your business, improving your team engagement, or improving your relationship with your customers. This week I want to dig into how you're training your team members. It's a critical aspect of your business success and something that we all do as business owners, whether we're actively aware of it or not. I think we could all agree each and every one of our team members has room for improvement in one or more aspects of skill, knowledge, and behavior they bring to our team. So rather than just be focused on providing training to your newly hired team members, you've got to consistently provide training opportunities for even your longest tenured employees, which makes the task of training your team even more complicated. You know why? Because those who have been on your team for a long time feel like they already know how work gets done, and since they've been around for several years, they already know everything they need to know to be successful. Am I right? I'll bet that as I said those words, a specific someone came to mind to you immediately. Someone who's probably told you as much when you last mentioned to them that you were going to implement a new training program for the entire team. Which is why I wanted to ask this question today. How effective is your current method of training team members? I'm not trying to suggest that your training programs are inadequate, but if you're like most business owners I work with, you have a training program for newly hired team members, but probably not for those who have been with you for several years. My experience has proven that the most difficult employees to train are often those who have been on the team the longest. And as it turns out, they're also the ones who have the biggest and most important impact on any employee who joins your team. Set aside the training aspect for a minute. These employees with tenure often have an oversized influence on the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs of your new employees. This should be great news, but oftentimes it's not all that helpful, which is why your training programs matter for both new employees and your more senior team members. So today I want to share with you 4 critical elements that you should make sure are baked into any and every training you do with and for your team. These 4 critical elements are essential if you want the training to stick and be followed. I'll share them in the order or sequence that they should be addressed in your training, regardless of whether you're training the team on a hard skill, such as a computer software or a physical technique, or a soft skill, such as active listening, showing empathy, or handling a difficult customer complaint. Here's the first critical element: sharing the why. No training should happen without first addressing why the training's important. And while this sounds like a duh kind of a statement, far too often the why is left unspoken and implied, meaning that we believe that it's so obvious that it doesn't need to be mentioned. But that's never the case. Even if it appears to be so obvious that anyone with a brain would understand the why, I recommend that you expressly and passionately share the why of the training you're about to do. Oftentimes, the why will have something to do with the brand reputation you're wanting your business to express in the marketplace. In those cases, we should never let this go unspoken and unsupported. Your brand reputation is everything when it comes to your business success, so never miss the opportunity to connect and relate the training you give to how it impacts and affects your brand. There may be cases where the training has nothing to do with your brand, but when that's the case, Be sure to begin the training with the why you're spending valuable time on this particular topic. Starting with the why makes anything you say once the training begins far more important and essential than if you were to simply jump into the details of the training. Here's the second critical element: sharing the what. With the why clearly defined and shared, you should next be clear and specific on what you expect to happen. The what is most often shared as a set of expectations or measurables. It may be the number of contacts that need to be made, or the speed of the deliverable, or the frequency of repetition. Think of the what as the level of success you desire and will expect. The what will set the bar for everyone on your team. It becomes a standard that everyone will come to realize is an essential part of what your business delivers to or does for each and every customer. It should be a clear and measurable standard that's not confusing or unclear. Here are a few examples of the what that you may find helpful. The what may be answering every incoming phone call before the third ring. The what may be to respond to every prospect inquiry within 2 hours of their call, email, or text message. The what may be to complete and deliver 50 units per shift. The what may be to check and refresh the customer lounge every hour. The what may be to make 20 outbound calls each day. Every training should be related to a specific what, and the what should be directly supported by the why. If our brand, our why, is related to speed, then the what will likely be a speed-related metric. If our brand, our why, is related to quality, then the what will likely be a detailed or thorough-related metric. If our brand, our why, is related to efficiency, then the what will likely be an efficiency or improvement-related metric. Be very clear on the what so that everyone on the team knows the standard you expect and demand. The third critical element of your training should be to demonstrate the how. This comes down to the ABCs or 1, 2, 3s of any specific sequence or process. Never assume that everyone should know the step-by-step mechanics of doing something. Spell it out in exacting detail. Oftentimes, this is where you want to provide a checklist or process flowchart or step-by-step guide. In any case, the team members who have been with you for a longer time have likely either forgotten the specific step-by-step process or they've modified the how to fit their particular style or approach. But if your training is focused on an important aspect of your business, particularly those that directly involve your customers or prospects, it's essential to remind and refresh everyone on the team of the things that should be done in specific detail. I use a fundamental rule when it comes to teaching the how. That rule is that unless a team member has proven that they're fully capable and deliver excellent results, they can't modify the standard process. No manipulating the sequence, skipping a step, or adding additional steps unless or until they've demonstrated proficiency and excellence in the prescribed method. Don't be hesitant sharing a specific how, because if everyone on the team is following the same process or method, then you'll gain insights faster and be able to make improvements quicker. Finally, the fourth critical element of your training should be the now. The now outlines what should be done immediately following the training itself. Nothing is more frustrating than having members of your team spend time in training or gain new education and then simply go back to doing work the same way they've always done it before. It sounds crazy when you say it, but it happens way too often. And most times, it's not the fault of your team members. It's more the fault of the trainer or instructor. Without sharing this clear, now do this, as the last part of the training, most will assume the training was interesting and perhaps even thought-provoking, but not an action-oriented activity. Again, don't assume that everyone will accept the training and immediately change their actions or behaviors. In most cases, they'll wait to see if you really mean it. Nothing says, "I'm serious about this," more than giving your team members a clear and specific, "Now, I want you to do this." Done right, this will probably provoke some of the most challenging questions. When someone's given a new assignment or new task as the last step of their training, they will know that there are new expectations and they will have questions. These questions will likely take you back to the what, the expectation or standard, or the how, the step-by-step process they must follow. Which is why delivering your training in this 4-step method is perhaps the best way to make sure it's not only received, but easy to implement. And one last thought on the now. I find it helpful to build a follow-up or check-in date a week or two beyond the training. This will allow you to get a sense of progress, identify any recurring issues, and celebrate the early wins. So there you have it, a simple 4-step process to deliver clear, compelling, and action-oriented training for any and every aspect of your business. Use this model to solve your biggest challenge you're currently facing in your business, and I can assure you it will result in noticeable improvements. If you need help incorporating this method into your business, don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. I'd be glad to help you design a training curriculum that will solve your big challenges and set your team on a path towards new levels of high performance. Now, before we go, 2 quick asks. Share this podcast with your fellow business owners. I'm trying to get these free business tips to as many business owners as possible. I want every business owner to be successful, and this is my gift to you and to them. Thanks for passing this along. And lastly, please leave a review on this podcast. The more thumbs up this podcast gets, the more it'll be found when someone's stuck or struggling and looking for advice. Your review can help make this happen. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to tune in next week when we're going to discuss your personal development checklist. You won't want to miss it. Meanwhile, if you have a question, suggestion, or would simply like to connect, shoot me an email at rich@tourtoprofit.com. Now go make it a great week, and whatever you do, ride hard.
Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, find more resources at tourtoprofit.com and connect with Rich by sending a message to rich@tourtoprofit.com. Until next time, ride hard.